Hello, my name's Lisa, and if this is your first time here, then thank you very much for joining me. If you are a returning subscriber, then just know that means the world to me, and I'd like to say a huge thank you to my channel members. Now, today's video, I'm going to be talking about the terrible Sephora trend, and it's where children are wanting to do skincare and makeup. The main reason this seems to be happening is because these children are being allowed to watch TikTok and Facebook videos. It all sounds innocent so far, doesn't it? But unfortunately, that is not the case. This trend has caused major issues for shops like Sephora and Ulta because children as young as 5 and up to the ages of between 10 and 12 are running riot in these stores, seemingly totally unsupervised. Who's to blame for this is the human cry. Many are putting the blame firmly on social media. But for me, I really don't agree with that opinion. For me, it falls squarely at the parents' feet. As a parent, you have a responsibility to control how your child behaves in public, at school, as well as at home. One thing parents should be doing, in my opinion, is controlling what their children watch on electronic devices, just like I did with mine and like I continue to do with our grandchildren. When our children were these ages, and I know it was a different world then, so you don't need to remind me that I'm not a young mum anymore. My kids are all grown up and I'm in my 50s. But that still doesn't change the fact of what went on at that time. In the younger days, our kids watched television, watched videos, played with dolls, and went to the park. As they got older and they became 9, 10, 11, 12, and then teenagers, yes, they did start doing more things, but it was all supervised. All of my children are girls, so as you can imagine, there was a lot of makeup in our house, but it was child's makeup, not adult makeup. It was appropriate makeup for the age of the individual that was using it. Yes, the world is very different now, but that doesn't mean when my children were 10, 11, 12, and 15 that there weren't mobile phones around, because there were, but they were not allowed to have one until they reached the age of 13. And obviously, when my eldest child was 13, there wasn't a thing as TikTok, and there were no videos on Instagram or Facebook. So it wasn't so much of an issue then. Yes, I know that. I agree with that. And I know what people are going to say in the comments. But if you give your child an electronic device, then you should control what happens on it. There's a very tiny word in the dictionary. It's called no. And it's something that parents, in my opinion, have got out of the habit of using. As I've said, our daughters are grown up now, but they do have children of their own. We have two 6-year-old, nearly 7-year-old grandchildren, and one who's 9.5 and will be 10 in July of this year. So it's not like I don't have experience of children of those ages in today's world, because I do, but the rules still apply. The nearly 10-year-old wanted some makeup and nail varnishes for Christmas, and I went out and got that present for her. But I bought it in a shop that sells children's toys and age appropriate things for children. I didn't go into Sephora or Ulta to buy her makeup, because to me that is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, At her age of nearly 10, she doesn't really have much of an idea of how to put it on. And for me, the biggest problem is what parents don't do these days. They don't have time. Well, when I was a mum of 4 children, I didn't have time either, but mine still behaved. And when they didn't, they were told off. They were not allowed out. They were grounded. They had things taken away from them that they really cherished in order for them to learn the word no. All three of our grandchildren have their own tablet, but what are they not allowed to do on it? They're not allowed to go on YouTube and they're not allowed to go on TikTok because the content that is put out on there is not appropriate for children of their ages. If you go onto TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, the minimum age for these platforms is 13. So they shouldn't be allowed on there anyway. The tablet they have is used for them to play games on and watch age appropriate films on. The children that seem to be running amok in Sephora have been watching influencers on TikTok using certain makeups and skincare. But what these children don't understand is that the people that are demonstrating them are adults and they are demonstrating it for adults to use. When children get involved in things like that, they're only children at the end of the day. So, in my opinion, they're not the ones to be blamed. The parents are the ones that are in the wrong because they shouldn't be allowing them to watch any of this content. Keeping up with the Joneses is a saying that has been around for many years, and the meaning of it has never changed. It just basically means that you want what someone else has got. And that is the whole point of influencer marketing in the first place, is to make people aware of the product and make them want it. And kids wanting things is nothing new. But these skincare routines that are being shown to them are not for skin of children between the ages of 5 and 12. This skincare is basically for adults and it contains a product called retinol, which is used for fine lines, wrinkles, and acne. I mean, how many 10-year-olds do you know that have got wrinkles and acne? I mean, be serious. It's going to be an extremely small number, isn't it? If a child is going through puberty early, then they may suffer from acne. But apart from that, it's just not going to happen, is it? So it's irresponsible of the parents to let their child put this kind of thing on their faces when it's going to have a detrimental effect on their skin. It's not going to make their skin better, is it? It's going to give it problems that it doesn't have in the first place. One thing that I did when my children were younger and they asked me if they could have something, I did research on it. And if it was appropriate and wasn't going to hurt them in any way, then I let them have it. But nobody seems to carry out any research on these products and they just willy nilly say, yes, you can have it. And they only do it to shut the child up, which, in my opinion, is totally ridiculous. After seeing some of these videos on TikTok, I just cannot believe the way some of these children behave in these shops. I know in the videos they're watching influencers mixing this product with that product and another product to make something called a smoothie and then putting it on their skin. Well, that's okay when you're at home and you've bought the product, but it's definitely not okay when you're in a shop and you're doing it with the shop's testers. and absolutely destroying them and then just walking off as if you own the place. I mean, that is disgraceful behaviour. In some places, Sephora have taken the testers away, but that hasn't cured the problem because the children are now opening up products that are brand new and are there for people to purchase, and they're mixing smoothies with the new products. I mean, it's hard enough working in retail as it is without having unsupervised children running amok in the store. There are people there that are genuinely there to buy a product, and that is who the staff should be dealing with. I feel so sorry for them having to deal with children who are in a store totally unsupervised. I mean, where are the parents? What on earth are the parents doing? Letting a gaggle of 10, 11, and 12-year-olds go off to a shopping mall on their own and giving them hundreds of dollars. I mean, what is the mentality of that? I just don't understand it. When I go shopping with my grandchildren and their friends, and we go into shops, I actually go in with them and I supervise what they are doing in them, and I certainly don't let them buy anything that is going to be harmful to them. So I have to ask again, what in the hell are these parents doing? Another thing I find quite incredulous is the parents themselves don't even use these skincare products because, in their opinion, they're too expensive, but they allow their 12-year-old to have it? That doesn't make sense either. And I know it's only because the child keeps on and they want to shut the child up. Well, there are other ways of doing that, aren't there? Being the mother of four girls, I had a scenario once in Walmart, and there was an advert on the telly, and I'm going to play you a little bit of it. Well, you see what that lady did in the advert? I did exactly the same thing. I had four children, all wanting this, that, and the other, and all I got was, Mum, can I have? I want, Mum, can I have? And when I kept saying no to them, they started screaming and having a tantrum, just like that little boy did. And you know what? I did exactly what that mum did. I laid on the floor and kicked my feet, saying, I want, I want, I want. And I'll tell you something, my children were so embarrassed, they never ever did it again. And that is the sort of behaviour that children need to be taught these days. They need to be taught the values that were taught to people like me when I was growing up. And one of the biggest values I was always taught was manners, and they have stood me in good stead for the whole of my life. Please and thank you go a long, long, long way. Another person that is being blamed are the child influencers themselves. And I don't agree with that. I don't actually think they should be blamed. Again, the blame lies firmly with the parents because all they are trying to do is make money out of their child. And that is wrong on so many levels. Yes, these children are getting sponsored by big brands and the money's coming rolling in. And that makes it so that the parent of the child on social media can afford all of these different products because they are actually being given to them. But they're not looking on the other side of the coin at the parent who cannot afford these products. Let's have a look at some of these skincare products and see how outrageously expensive they are, shall we? Moisturiser containing retinol, €69. Day cream, €74. Night cream, €89. I mean, they're absolutely outrageous prices. Now let's have a quick look at a product called Bubble Skincare that is age appropriate for children. And you get all of these 7 products for $99, which is a huge amount different to the products Pink Elephant. I mean, the Pink Elephant toner alone was 23.50. The hydrating serum was $49. The vitamin C serum is $79. And who in their right mind is going to buy a suntan lotion, an SPF 30, for $38? I mean, these people must have more money than sense, in my opinion. Why are children of today not encouraged to play outside like they were when I was a child and like my children were as children and like my grandchildren are? I mean, I know we're lucky because we live somewhere with a swimming pool, but all of our grandchildren all spend an awful lot of time at the swimming pool. And when we lived somewhere without a swimming pool, we took the children to the park and we played football and rounders and, just outside games. So why can't children of today do that? Just because social media is around, it should not be all encompassing for everyone. Anyone who spends all of their day, every day of the week on social media is asking for health problems in the future. And that is not a good thing to teach your child, is it? The youth of today are growing up far too fast and they seem to be missing out on an awful lot, in my opinion. This is probably going to be another unpopular opinion, but hey ho, we're not all the same. We all have a voice and we are all freely able to use it in appropriate situations. And I don't believe that adults should be taking children to these shops. I mean, when I went shopping for makeup and when my daughters go shopping for makeup, they don't take their kids with them. They do it when the kids are at school. And to me, that is appropriate. That is the way you should do it. Because if you're taking your child into these shops, it's obvious that they are going to want what you are purchasing. I mean, that's just nature, isn't it? That's natural for children to want what their parents want. But if you're not taking them to those shops, then they're not going to be asking you for them, are they? Another thing I think people are going to say in the comments is that, yes, but when I take my child to a store with appropriate items for them, they always say no, they don't want them. Well, that's fine. If they don't want them, don't buy them for them. Make them go without, because that's what a lot of other parents do. That's how they have nicely behaved children. I don't blame these kids at all. In fact, I blame everyone else other than the child. But the biggest blame for me falls squarely with the parents. At the end of the day, they are just children, and the world over, all children behave in the same way, and it is all to do with how their parents bring them up. And you've got the spoilt brats who are generally the bullies at school and are the bane of everyone's life. And then you've got the polite and well mannered children who are not a nuisance, who could go into a Sephora store and not kick off saying, I want, I want, I want. And when children behave properly, then they should be rewarded properly. I don't believe in giving children things just for the sake of it because they're getting on your nerves. The way some of these children treat the employees in these shops is absolutely disgusting. And I believe that Sephora and other shops that sell high-end makeup and skincare products should ban children under the age of 14 unless they are with a parent, because that would cut out the problems straight away. And I also think that the parents of these children that are destroying these testers should have to pay for them as well. I mean, I know they're testers and they're not going to be sold anyway, but when they're opening up new products and they are mixing them like they did with the testers, then the parent should be made to pay for them. And then hopefully that would teach the child not to do things like that. Everyone has Google in their hand these days, and I believe that the parents should be showing children the harm that these products could do to their skin. I mean, I taught our youngest grandchild not to touch the cooker. We've got one of those halogen hobs, where it's just flat and the ring glows up red. And I said to her all the time, that ring is red, or there's a little H on lit up on the cooker top. Don't touch it because it means it's very hot and it's going to burn you. And I got some pictures up of children that had been burned from touching cooker tops or the iron or pouring boiling hot water over themselves. So there is a way to use social media for the good. You can show them things that are harmful to them. And the parents should be doing that kind of thing because that goes a longer way to them actually listening to you than just saying no. Show them why the answer is no. I also feel that parents who are putting themselves in debt to give their child products that they want are extremely irresponsible, and they are just teaching their kids very bad habits. And the last thing I'm going to say on this subject is about the brands themselves. They should be putting out information saying what is and what isn't suitable for children to use, and they should change their packaging to be more age appropriate. I mean, look at all of this pink elephant stuff with the blues and the yellows, the pinks, the orange, the red. They are all aimed at children, and a lot of children play with Play Doh, which comes in those colours. So you can understand why they would want something that is that colour. So maybe the packaging should be changed as well. Well, that's it for today's video. If there are any updates on what is happening in Sephora, then I will be back to update you. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Have an amazing day. Bye for now.